Okay, we're live. Hang on here. We should be live. I'm just going to double check. And we are live. All right. Do we have sound? I'm just going to double check. Yeah, we have sound. Okay. Oh, and there's the dog. Doug. Oh, dog. How does he know? How do you know, dog, that I'm doing a stream? Yeah, well, we'll give some treats to the dog here. Everybody get your questions together here. Yes, Doug, I know, little dog. You know, eh? How do you know? How do you know this? Hey, how do you know? You goof. Oh, dog. I don't know, how do you know this? Like, I can talk to people on the phone, and you don't do this, but just, I get the camera out, folks, and I don't know, and he can't see the camera on the desk because he was sleeping in the living room. He wasn't even looking at me. Oh. All right, folks, this is, as the title of this live stream says, questions and answers. So, if there's no questions, I'm going to go because I got like a ton of stuff to do. I'm working on my house. I'm getting things ready here to exit. And I've been working in my basement here the last 3 days. My body's feeling it. I did like 3,000 pounds of concrete downstairs in a 5'5" basement. So when you're 6'2", 6'3" with work boots on. So I'm a little bit stiff here today, but I'm doing my stairwell today, drywall. So, but I want to do the stream. So I've done the series. You saw you saw my 7-part series on my exploratory mission to Venezuela, and if you got questions, I'm here. No. Okay, did I see any animals on your potential new home? Like indigenous animals? Like wildlife type thing? Is that what you're talking about, Michael? I'm waiting here. Probably we got a little bit of a delay here on the questions. The internet, they got 3G connection out in the countryside, cellular. So you could stream with 720p. You wouldn't be able to stream with 1080, but you could stream with 720. But uploading, not a problem. Like I said, it's all 3G. They don't have 4G there yet. To get Doug in the country, all I got to do is get Doug to have a medical certification and all his shots. Rabies, all that kind of neat stuff, and he's got to be 6 months. He has to be on flea and tick medicine before he can leave, before he can go. So that's so Doug's. I've already been treating Doug the last 3 months with that medicine, so that he'll be ready when the time comes to leave. I haven't bought any property yet in Venezuela. I haven't bought anything. I'm looking at different properties and getting an idea. Honestly, I'm not gonna buy in the first year. I'm honestly not going to because I don't know where I want to be exactly in Venezuela. I'm going to be renting wherever I stay. Like I could be renting that farmhouse from them to stay there for the first year. Is it easy to buy farm animals? No, it's not really easy to buy farm animals. But if you got dollars, anything's possible. So if you want to you want to buy a cow, dollars. And if you've got dollars, you can have anything you want. Dollars is the answer. So okay, so just I'm trying to get the questions here. Okay, so I answered the farm animals based on what I saw. Do I have a plan for farming? I have no plans right now, Christy. None at all. I'm being completely, what you call it? I'm being very open-minded on this whole situation. I'm not. I have not made. I'm not going in it with tunnel vision. Put it that way. Doug's got tunnel vision. If you see that right there. Okay, so. Next question. Are there any museums in Venezuela? Well, actually, there are museums. I think it was the second video. I showed the museum for the big battle on the second video. That's an outdoor museum, obviously. Um, okay. Medical insurance and facilities. Yes, there are medical there, and once you get your work visa or your investment visa, or you get married or whatever, once you get your status to be there, you qualify for the health care that's provided by the government. And as far as facilities, obviously the city has more than the remote countryside. But worst case scenario, if something really went wrong, like I needed, really, much better, something I need. If I put it this way, Colombia is very close, and Colombia is rated number 7 in the world when it comes to medical facilities. So it's like it's not far away for me to go somewhere else if I had to. Something happens to me. But knock on wood that nothing happens to me. No, Doug, that was just a knock on wood thing. Calm down. Predators with predator animals. The only predator that runs around the countryside is foxes. And I saw many dead foxes on the road. I actually driving to the Andes. I saw 3 dead foxes actually on the road. No, something. Have you found any homes for the ducks yet? No, Michael, I have not. I'm actually just starting that process now. Was I surprised about the amount of food being grown and available? Yes, I was, Sue. I was very surprised on the food situation. Extremely surprised. But don't forget, I was in the countryside where this is a part of life, not the city. The city's a different story. When you get deep into the city, it's different. It's a different story. Just like any city. City's not the place you want to be, in a situation that Venezuela is going through. The countryside is where you want to be at. So, will I be contacting PETA for care of the ducks? No, I won't be, John, outside. What else I got here? Have I found a veterinarian down there? No, I haven't. I haven't found a veterinarian, but they have veterinarians all over the place down there. Okay, the insane sanctions and embargoes mean that private citizens going there and taking their money there, could there be an issue? Yes, there is a major issue, actually. Major issue. The only way to get large sums of money into the country is Bitcoin. The country has been completely locked out of the banking system. And legally, you're only allowed to bring in $9,999 without declaring it. Anything over 10,000 you got to declare because you're a terrorist. But Bitcoin is the only way you get large sums of money in. There is a deal with Chevron, has got a deal because they're the only U.S. company right now that's exempt from the sanctions, and they've got, I think, till October 25th, and still their next renewal comes up. But somehow Chevron is getting money into the country, which nobody knows really how that's taking place. With the people that I'm talking to, because I'm trying to find out stuff, they're researching it to find out how Chevron is doing it. So. It seems like everybody truly cares about their neighbors down there. It is amazing, the community spirit. It's almost like everybody is a family. That's what it's like. That's what it's really like. What is the internet situation? I just answered that, Lester. 3G. Pay attention, Lester. Okay, are you actually going to move down there? What about Canada? Finally made you make the decision. What about Canada made you? Um, uh, I've always wanted to move to South America. Well, since 1991. 1991, I went down to Brazil for a 12-day holiday and stayed 5 months. And I had my eyes opened up to things that I didn't even know existed in this world. And it sort of haunted me of how lucky we are up here and how we take it for granted. And I saw a lot of people that I wanted to help, but I didn't know how I could help them. And now I'm going to go do it because they're good people, as you saw. Like, you know, you saw my videos. Like, those people weren't putting an act on. That's what it's like down there, and it's the same in Colombia, it's the same in Brazil, South America. They're that friendly, and like when you see what they're going through, I don't know. It's just me. I am like that. I'm a softie. And really nice people having a hard time. It's like I just want to help. I would just want to help. I guess it's just in me. It's in my blood. Can't help myself. I'm always, well, you know me with animals. I'm an underdog person. You know, is the underdog. When an animal's an underdog, I always give them special care. So humans no different. Will I be shutting down the streams since you're leaving on the 28th? No, I'm not shutting down the streams, Bobby. I'm going down to look at another property on the 28th of September. Will I come back someday? Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Hopefully I will never come back. Hopefully I will die down there of old age. No, I'm not going to turn them over to PETA, get them killed. Don't worry about that, Laura. How do people afford to own cell phones? Well, that is something, folks. Actually, I'm going to mention this or rally this up. Is that my next trip? I'd like to take a bunch of cell phones down, old cell phones. If you want to donate an old cell phone that you have laying around, smartphones, not flip phones, old smartphones laying around in your house that you're doing nothing with, get in touch with me, because they can't, like the people I was with. Well, an example, Leonard, my translator, his cell phone, he bought it, what he told me, 3 years ago for $50, and it was just a UBI, just a useless phone. He'd open an app and literally have to put the phone down and walk away and come back. It was so slow. And the problem is down there is that nobody can afford to upgrade their phones. So they're using flip phones, folks, that are like, or not flip phones, but smartphones that are like 7, 8 years old. And the problem is with the operating systems, Android and Apple and all that, the new operating systems just hog the phones and make them really slow. So they're actually doing, they have open source. They're doing open source operating systems where they're dissecting, Android, so that it can run the old phones, because they can't afford it. Because think about it. If you're on a pension of $25 a month, how do you buy a new phone? You can't. And the hoop jumping, if you do have money to buy a phone, is unbelievable. Like, put it this way, you've got to have access to international money with PayPal or dollars, and they don't have that. They just don't have that. It's they just don't have that. So anyways, I'm planning on taking. I'm going to donate some phones. I got a couple extra old a 5 here and an old 6 that I'm going to donate to some people down there that could really use a new phone. Because they don't have computers. So they don't have access to the internet, so they can't find out anything, the news, banking, anything. It's like without a phone, if you don't have a computer, how do you run your life this day and age, So, will I learn Spanish fast? Yeah, I will. Actually, when you're subjected to it and there's nothing else around, you'd be surprised how fast you can learn. Total immersion is the key, Plus, I'm actually going to have a tutor. Because to give you an idea is that I can hire a tutor, a professional, for proper grammar and the whole bit. I can hire a professional with a degree for 75 cents an hour as a tutor. So just to give you an idea. So I plan on doing that. The first 6 months I plan on doing school. And I'm just reading what else here. Private school for me. What's the next question? Is it possible to get other breeds of ducks shipped there? I don't know. No idea. Will I miss Tim Hortons? I've never been in Tim Hortons, so why would I miss it? I don't do Tim Hortons. Okay, I'll look at other questions here. Okay, I don't blame you, man. I can live anywhere. Yeah, I know. It's the people are so friendly. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable, folks. And even like when I land in the country, when I landed in the country, and how I got treated by the government when I landed, immigration and my, searching my luggage and that, like they helped me repack my luggage. They're so nice. 3G is going to be tough. No, it won't be tough, George. I don't know why 3G would be tough. Like actually, right here on my property, if you were running site, that's all you'd have is 3G. So, the exchange rate right now is crazy on the boulevard. It's when I got well, put it this way: when I started looking at this in the winter, it was 3,500 to one, and then it was like 73 when I got there. It was 79 when I left, and actually, what is it today? I'll just go on because I'm on that Instagram account here. Bear with me, folks. I'm just going to pull it up today. What today's is. What is today's? Hang on here. Bear with me. I got the screen in the wrong place. Hang on here. What is it today? So today is, bear with me here. What's today? Dollar. No, this is the official rate. Well, the official 13.4 or 12.8 to 13.4 is the official right now. And the black market, 13,800. Yeah. Oh no, 13,955. Here, I'll just switch it around so you can see here. So that's what it is today. 13,955 is today's. The currency's in free fall. It's because of what's going on down there. Because of the sanctions and the blockade. Well, now they're blocking food. They're gonna, they're the latest. They've got a block. The U.S. put a blockade on them, so they're now seizing food shipments. So they're gonna save the country by starving them, is what the U.S. is gonna do now. Can I take Bentley with me? No, I can't take any ducks with me. I don't know why you put Brazil or Rodrigo. Are you from Brazil? Will I have access to medical coverage? Yeah, I can go to the doctor. Hopefully I don't have to. I've had a pretty good run here other than injuries. So, and right now I am in peak physical condition according to my current medical exam I had. So there's nothing wrong with me. With all electrical blackouts, are you going to have your garden food instead of freezing it all? I'm still going to have a freezer. I'm going to have a generator, Gail. You can buy generators. I'm wherever I live, I'm going to have a generator, just in case. And you can buy generators down there. There's lots of people importing stuff into the country, black market wise, coming through Colombia. Actually, Leonard, my translator, he he has a friend that sells generators that he imports from the U.S. through Colombia. So I can get my hands actually on a generator, very reasonable price, very reasonable actually, about the same price as I paid for the one I have and that I've had for 10 years here. Will you be able to take care of yourself when you're no longer able to work? Your health could get a lot worse as you age. You're very, very inspirational, Joe Cola. I'm not thinking. I've got a lot of years before I'm unable to work. A lot of years. I'm only 57, folks. I'm not done yet. Am I having a big moving sale? Could I live stream it? Actually, Chris, I've been donating things. I've been doing a purge already. I've been doing big purges, and I've just been donating stuff, just giving it away. I'm to people that could use this stuff. I don't want to be bothered with a moving sale. I'm selling some expensive stuff, and but I've been basically purging, just giving it away, donating. I filled the cube van here last week. Keith and I filled the cube van, filled it completely, right to the whole floor, covered in stuff, and took it to the secondhand store for them, the charity store. Am I correct that you can't move until I sell my place? Yes. So if you don't sell till next year, I will. If I don't sell till next year, we will still have you just as thing are. I am. If I don't sell, I can't move. But I am going. It's going to sell, folks. I know for a fact this place is going to sell fast. You've always wanted to move to Canada. Good. Good. If you want to move, here, I don't know. I just. It's time for a change. How will you get your medication? What kind of health? I don't have. I'm not on any medication, so I don't understand. Well, why? What medication would I be getting? I'm not on any. I don't even have. I didn't even have ibuprofen in my house until I had my concussion. No. They're concerned about Maduro starving them, so they're blocking food imports. Hey, I know, it makes total sense, doesn't it? Total sense in this upside down world that we're in. Starve a country to save them. I know. What happened at customs when I returned to Canada? That was unbelievable, folks, what happened to me there. So I came from Bogota, is with my flight originally, and I was the only gringo on the plane, because I was up in front of the plane. I was in row 2, so I saw everybody that came through the plane. Everybody. The plane was just full of nothing but Colombians. Okay, coming here on holidays, tourist holidays. Okay, and I got to Toronto, and I went through the pre-screening. And then they sent me, my passport, everything checked out, and I went through the gates, got into the secondary area where they stand there and they do the interviews, and the I'm not racist. I'm not even remotely close to racist. But I was standing there and I'm looking at the customs, and the whole customs section it was all immigrants. I'm like, everybody was there. And they had accents and the whole bit, like these were like first generation immigrants. Oh my God, Graham, I'm getting scanned here by immigrants coming to my own country. I go through the door, and the only white guy that's a Canadian, he was a French Canadian. He's the one that singles me out and starts asking me questions. And I'm tired, but I answer the questions. I know the amount of power these guys have, so I'm like, I'm not going to get upset. And they did a bunch of scribbling on my paper, and then he says, go. So then I go. And then I went to the next person in the next area, and they said, oh, you got to go over. They want to interview you, interrogate you. So I went to the next area where they search your luggage, and I go in there and I put my bag on a thing and give on the table and give my passport with the card in it. And the girl goes, oh, no, this isn't just a simple search. Can you please have a seat, sir? Because they would like to talk to you. And I'm like, okay. So I go and sit down, and that's when I did the video to show you. And then they walked in, him and his sidekick, the big French guy. That guy was like, you can't tell in the video, but he was like 6'5". He was huge. I had to look up at him to look at him. So anyways, they put on their black gloves, and I was like, okay, well, at least they're not blue gloves. And he says, can you please go in the private room? So I go into the private room, and I put the bag down, and they made me empty all my pockets. And they opened asked me questions. Is there anything dangerous in the bag? Can we get hurt? And all that kind of stuff. And man, it's like everything's cool. So they opened the bag. They just tore the bag apart, as in emptying it. But they didn't really, like, it was the most pathetic search. Like, seriously, folks, I could have had a kilo of Coke in there in the coffee. They never even opened the coffee. Like, it was just plastic bags. Well, you saw the picture there. the video when they gave me the coffee. It was like in homemade bags. They never even opened the bags. They just went like this. That was it. That's the amount of, they didn't even squeeze. They just like this. That's like lightly. The coffee that was sealed, there was a Christmas gift that was given to me to take to the people in Canada, and they didn't even open it. Like they didn't even open the gift, like the wrapping paper, nothing, didn't even touch it. They just lightly squeezed on things. Lightly, like gingerly squeezed on things. Then they said, take my shirt off. And they laid the shirt out and they tapped the shirt like they were feeling it on the hard surface. Then they said, take your pants off, my shorts off. And I take my boots off. So then I took my boots off, and then they laid my pants, my shorts down. They tapped them too. They didn't even put their hands in their pockets, like pull the pockets inside out or nothing. Like it was just unbelievable. It was the worst search for thoroughness that I've ever seen in my life. Like actually, if I was their supervisor and I watched this search go down, I would send them all back for training, because I'm not kidding you, folks. I could have snuck in so much stuff inside the things that were in my bag. They didn't even open my camera bag. Like the camera, they didn't even unzip the camera case to look at the cameras. Like they didn't search my luggage. All it was a power trip. That's all it was. It was strictly humiliation by somebody who was in a really bad mood. But for some reason, and I don't know why, I do not know why, but I get treated like this every time I come back to my country. Every single time. I hate coming back every time they do this to me. So, and I've never been caught for anything. I've never done anything, and this is what happens to me all the time. So, that's what happened. It was just it was a power trip. And then when I got dressed, got redressed, and then I had to repack everything. Remember I told you about Venezuela? How they helped me repack my bag. They were so nice. This guy stood there with his arms crossed, and I'm trying to pack. I just wanted to get out of there, and I was packing stuff up, and I was struggling with the zipper, and I needed like a third hand to push on the top so I could do the zipper. And he just stood there, and then I was like this far on the end of the zipper. And he goes, "Do you need a hand?" Like that far. That's when he opens his mouth. "You need a hand?" I'm like, "No." I just shook my head and I walked out. It was like, no. It don't look like I'm going to go senile soon. I don't know what that means. Am I going to be able to export coffee? Why would I export coffee? I'm going to be there. How do I power it with the fuel shortages? On a generator. If I have my own generator, well, I would stockpile fuel. You can get fuel, folks. Black market, if you can't. The gas stations don't have any. It's all about dollars. If you got dollars, you can buy anything. Like you can buy 30 liters of fuel on the black market for $5. So, but I would store fuel. They don't store anything. They don't, because they're so poor, folks. They don't prep. There's no prepping going on. Like it's literally hand to mouth, and they grow their own food, and they trade it with each other, and they barter. So I would have food at home. I would not. I'm a prepper, so I would always have something at home. You excited to where I'm going to take you next? I'm excited to take you, Pamela. Medication for Doug. I'm taking medication with me for Doug. I will take lots of medication for Doug. No. Doug's number one medication is shoulder medication. And I can get the medication also in Colombia if I can't get it. Can I get medical insurance there? It's public health care, Inga. Oats and wheat, not that. According to what I've been told, there's not a lot of wheat. They don't grow wheat in the country. I don't know about oats, but I know for a fact I was told that they don't grow wheat. No. The search, George, was very thorough, but not thorough. You know what I mean? It was a power trip. That's why I was so mad. Like, if they would have looked at my coffee and looked in my bag and and did and opened my camera bag and looked at everything like that, but they didn't. it was just a 100% power trip. The guy was like, uh, because he asked me in the lineup when we were there, what do you do? I said, I'm a YouTuber. I raise ducks to feed the homeless, is what I said, is what I do on YouTube. And then we were researching, and it was like, he goes, so what do you do again? I said, I raise ducks to feed the homeless, the homeless shelter in Toronto. And I said, I don't do it anymore, but that's what I did. And he goes, oh, I thought you were a duck hunter. He wasn't even listening. Like when he interviewed me in the walk area, in the greeting area, he didn't even listen to what I said. He'd already made his mind up that he was going to make, a gringo unhappy, because how dare a gringo come back from Colombia? And the rest of the plane, I'm watching. Everybody's getting blown through. Like everybody. I'm like the only freaking white guy off to the side. Export coffee to you, George? Mailing out of the country is, it'd be virtually impossible. You'd have to ship it. Many of the homes multi-generational. All of them are. It's unbelievable. It's quite common to see, two generations, three generations living in a house. They just can't afford to buy. Well, Geraldo or Gerald and Angie and their child live with their parents. Like people just can't. You can't afford to buy anything. It was because the other person was worried about you succumbing to old age down there. I don't understand that question. Okay. What will I do with my guns? I don't know yet, Jane. What I'm gonna do with my guns? I can't take them with me. I know that. Oh. But I do, I still legally, I'm a citizen of Canada, and I still legally have a gun license, and so I still can legally store them. Okay. Okay, the hardware store I stopped at, do they sell wood as well? Or do you use trees and branches? I don't understand what the wood, use it for what? Everything they make down there is made with either, cement blocks, clay blocks, and cement, and not a lot of wood gets used down there for building wise. And if they do, like, a lot of like the roofs and that, they use a lot of bamboo, which is local. They harvest the bamboo right from actually, we drove through a bamboo tunnel, which was really cool. And I didn't get the camera out fast enough. By the time I realized I was in a bamboo tunnel, it was too late. Everybody will want to be my best friend because of your money goes a long way. I don't know, if you walk around throwing money around, yeah, I guess you could buy your friends. Oh. I can't use my Ontario health card in Venezuela. I will be using the Venezuelan healthcare system. You guys are really worried about the healthcare. A lot of fear on this healthcare problem. So how am I going to receive mail down there? Electronically. If it can't come electronically, I ain't getting it, Gail. No. There's no, the mail situation. There's one way of getting things mailed, which is mailing it to this Canadian forwarder, and then they ship it down by DHL to a DHL office for you. But it's very expensive. It's like $75 uh, just for the handling, and that only gets you a 1 by 1 by 1 foot. So basically a box that big for $75. And that and then there's a I forget what the fee is. They charge a fee for it also. Other factories, yes, they make things there, Juanita. There's lots of different things made in Venezuela. Lots of things. Shovels, fencing material, wiring material, Toyota cars. There's tire factories. There's still You know, the country still needs stuff. What made me choose Venezuela? It was the universe forced me in that direction. It was just the universe. It was just it was just a a chain of events that took place that I didn't plan on. Just a chain of events. Just, you know, things just happen in life. You know, they fall into place. Things just fall into place. Well, that's you know, that's what happened. That's how it happened. I started down the road going to one place and ended up at the other. That's all. That's all that took place. How long do I plan to stay there? If the universe be willing, I maybe I will die down there of old age. So, what is the school system like there for children? I don't know. I showed you schools that I drove by. There's public schools. You know, I didn't get into the, you know, the curriculum. Can I name one current politician of Venezuela that is not the same skin color as the majority? Actually, they're politicians. And it's a potpourri mixture. But no fear of the healthcare, just curious. uh, Hello, John from outside in Germany. I'd be freaked out if I was moving to the States about healthcare. Yeah, I would be actually. Um, I would be because you go bankrupt trying to take care of yourself. You know, as soldiers, but you didn't see any local officials. There's all kinds of levels. There's levels. There's just like here. They have municipal police, they have state police, and then they have federal police. Just like here. It's exactly the same thing. They're all over the place. They're intermixed. Like there's different check stops. Like I came into some check stops that were municipal check stops that were looking for local criminals. I ran into state, but like on the major highways, it's all federal police. And the reason for the check stops is they're looking for people that are transporting stolen goods or contraband, is what they're looking for. Because of what's going on down there, they're pretty freaked out right now about stuff being transported around the country. Because, well, just put it this way, they've caught container loads of arms coming into the country from a certain country, and under the guise of humanitarian relief. So, so that's what they're looking for. Internet, answer that question already, Janie, but I'll answer it again. 3G. If they can't import stuff, they have to manufacture even more at home than other countries. Actually, it's amazing. I can't believe the amount of stuff that's made there, actually, because I thought, like, I thought I was going to be taking a lot more stuff down with me. And actually, this next trip, you're going to really see a lot of what's available down there locally. This next trip I'm going down, folks, is going to be a real deep dig, much more deeper than this last one was about looking for research-wise. The hard work I have ahead of me, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it, actually. It's going to be, it's actually, Pamela, it's very exciting, the amount of work that's coming. When it falls into place, it's meant to be. It seems to be, Mallard. I'm telling you, the things that are happening that are putting this together, it's. I never would have expected it. It's like, put it this way, it's like the cogs of the universe are coming together in my life to do this. It's unbelievable, actually. Just the people I'm meeting, the people I'm getting introduced to, the people that are helping me. It's like, because like I said, I headed down one path. And I headed down to, you know, not a lie, my options were Brazil and Colombia. And I seriously, you know, was looking at those two. And then the Venezuela came onto the radar, and the Brazil was I was going to have to invest too much money to get a visa, and Colombia turned me down. They wouldn't accept my application. They rejected me and locked me out of the country for 180 days that I can't apply for a visa. And then things just fell into place with Venezuela after that. After I got shut down everywhere else, it's just like Venezuela popped up and everything just happened. So, okay, stop watching the news. They're the only two racist people who get along everywhere. Where news? Yeah. The racist word, Wes, it's getting overused. It gets used for everything. It gets used for everything. It's like I'm getting so sick of Western media, and this social justice warrior crap. It's getting, and the multiple genders, and it's gone absolutely crazy. It's absolutely crazy what's going on up here, folks. We're losing our brain cells as a society up here. Like when in Canada, if you misgender somebody, misidentify them, you can get sued by the government. You can be brought in front of a human rights tribunal and get a huge judgment against you if you misgender somebody. It's crazy up here. So will there be ducks in my Venezuelan future? I don't know, George. I have no idea. What's my future? I have no idea what my future is gonna be yet, folks. I have no idea. Actually, Gail, about zip lines and gondolas, there's actually less than 2 hour drive from Santa Cruz in the mountains where I was. There is the world's longest cable car gondola that goes to it's the world's longest. It goes to like 5,000 or 4,900 meters elevation. There's snow. There's a video on YouTube about it, that they rebuilt it, and it's open for business. But less than 2 hour drive from Santa Cruz, from where I was, and I can have snow if I really want it. So, what else here? So I'm going to live where it's actually cool, not hot and humid. It's certainly looking like I could be there. It's the weirdest thing, folks. It's cool, but it's not cool. It's like the even like when the cool nights of 10 degrees at night, it isn't like 10 degrees here. Like it's like we're getting now 10-degree nights here, and it's cool. Like you walk around outside, wearing a t-shirt and shorts, you get a chill. It's like they it's like it's like the ground, because the sun's so strong, the ground during the day gets warm, and so when the temperature drops at night, the ground radiates heat, and you don't get that chill. Like there's no base chill to it. It's really strange. And even when it's like 10, 12 degrees, it feels still comfortable to be in your shorts, except when it's raining. Then it's uncomfortable. But during the day, like you got to be really careful, because it's like it's 20, 22 degrees, and you think, oh, it's pretty cool out, eh? But you got to remember, you're only like, I think it's 8.9 degrees north of the equator. You're pretty close to the equator, so the sun is seriously strong. What's the difference between Portuguese and Spanish? One's Portuguese, one's Spanish. They're not the same. Thank you, Pamela. I am pretty excited. It's going to be an awesome adventure. I'm going to share as much as I can with everybody on this channel. I'm not going to jump to another channel. I'm just going to continue the ducks, because the ducks are me and Doug, and we're going to go to we're going to share this new new chapter on helping people. So, do I think I want to? Well, actually, the having the I'm actually I was shown some lots of land actually that when we went up the mountain in that bald tired Toyota land, that red or the little red truck, that Toyota, that was another piece of land that was being shown to me, which I didn't know I was being taken up there. I found out later, but that I can build up there if I want. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. I like the idea of building my own home. I honestly do because I don't like the way they lay out their houses. I don't like it. I don't. It's they're into this too many rooms because everything's built for multi-families to be in it, and it's like I don't need a multi-family home. How did I find that place, Mindy? The universe sent me there. Honestly, seriously, not lying, not lying. I didn't. It was. It literally was delivered to me. Literally was delivered to me. I didn't find it. Seriously, I was looking at Brazil and Colombia, and next thing I know, this is being put in front of me. You know, where I'm going, Creative Storm, where I'm going next is I'm looking at it's a hot and humid area. You know, it's actually a town, a city called Cumana, and Cumana, Cumana, I think it's that, Cumana. It's about a 9 hour drive east of Caracas, and it's right, well, actually, it's directly across from Margarita Island on the coast. Because I could be in two locations with what I'm thinking. I don't know yet, but I'm going down on the 28th. And like I said, we're going to be doing a big search on what it's like. Like when I'm flying this trip directly into Valencia, and I'm going to basically window shop crazy for about 4 or 5 days, going into all the stores, everything from furniture stores, big building stores, because allegedly there are chains down there that have mimicked like Home Depot and stuff like that and Costco. And I want to go to all these big places and I want to see exactly what is there. Because like I said, I'm starting to discover that I'm going to need to take very little. Like I'm thinking I'm probably going to end up only taking like a couple skids of stuff. I don't even think I'm remotely even coming close to a container. Plus, also I had a big eye opener was about bringing stuff down there and transporting it to run a container, a 20-foot container. The problem is moving the container around. But if you only have enough for like a 1-ton cube van, there's lots of transport companies that operate 1-ton cube vans. So basically 4 skids of stuff in a cube van, and I can go anywhere I want in the country with it. Some of the stores are closed because of lack of merchandise or lack of customers. The problem is right now is that there's a lack of money, dollars, Bovalero. It's like there is no money. There is no money. There is no economy because of the sanctions. So it's actually, I think it's true capitalism. There's no business, your business closes. And so some business, only the businesses that can, generate money stay open. The ones that can't, close. And some days, you just don't open because you don't know if there's going to be any business. Like the restaurant that day was closed and we had to open it, for us. Gail, it's an unbelievable tourist place. If you've got the guts, a lot of people are afraid. A lot of people are really afraid, and they're not. But adventure tourism is big now. People love to live life on the edge. There is a growing segment of that, but a lot of people they just want to go on a charter, hop off the plane, get bused to the compound, spend their week on a compound, and then then get bused back to the airport and go fly home. Everything's safe. A lot of people that's an idea of a holiday to a lot of people. If I'm going to keep this channel, you're going to have to keep at least 50 ducks. No, I'm not. 50 ducks is 50 ducks. I can't change the title. I can't change my name on my title. I can't change the name of my channel. If I do, I lose my my little gray check mark beside my name because then I'm no longer verified. Yes, things do happen for a reason, Juanita. I need to build a house with taller doorways. Yes, I do. I seriously do. That's another thing is that the places I'm looking at, that all of them need the doorways smashed out, so I don't actually smash my head out one day accidentally. You don't chat because you don't feel fit in with the group. Well, Wes, you're chatting right now to me. Well, I can still see snow, Lester. On a 2-hour drive, I can be in snow. Well, Dale, a normal doorway is alright for my height, but down there is a different story. It's like what's weird is the outside doors to the houses, no problem. Which I can't figure this out. It's like a false sense of security. You come to someone's house, or any house actually, all the outside doors are no problem. As soon as you get inside, boom, they drop the doorway. So like you walk in, the door's like 6'8". Lots of clearance. You walk through. There's like room above my head, and then you get inside. Duck. Every doorway after that, you have to duck. I don't get the rationale. Like you go from a regular door, and then you get inside, and all the doorways are like chopped down. Okay. It is like paradise. The farm is really awesome. It's 20 acres, 8 hectares on the side of the hill, on the side of the mountain, pretty close to the top. And like I panned the area and showed you what it's like. It's like crazy, unlimited water. The soil's really good. You can grow anything there. It's a pretty sweet place, to go outside and you have your morning coffee overlooking the valley. The people are very genuine and sincere. It's unbelievable. They're very nice. And like I said, the countryside is where you run into people. I discovered that when I was in Brazil, like in the cities. I mean, it was a rat race, like every city. But when you got out into the countryside, it was a different story. That's what sold me on that part of the world. The countryside. The people are so real. And they don't walk around looking at their phones either. I love that part. There's none of this glued to their smartphone stuff. It's like, you would in Boconó, in the Plaza, you can see all the young people on their phones, but that's the younger generation, like the 18 to 25 range. But when you get up to the 35 and up, it's like they aren't brainwashed on the technology because you got to remember they're behind us, so that generation they're not stuck to their phones like now. You look around now and it's like people 35 and up, they're just glued to their phones. Down there, the phone is in their pocket and they just don't use it. Like I have contact information now and I'm talking to them and it's like they don't even look at their phone all day because I don't get a reply back till that night. So they're not stuck to there's a lot more eye contact, one-on-one, where they're looking at you and they're talking to you and you can say hi to people. Everybody says hi to everybody. They wave. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Like it's not like here. Like you want to freak somebody out in the grocery store, say hi to them. A total stranger. They're my God. It triggers people to say hi to them. No, you can get T-shirts, Bobby, at the airport. I found one, except the one I got, I put it on this morning. I was going to wear it, and I'm not kidding you, it's so itchy. I don't know what the hell it's made out of, but I couldn't do it. The itch was unbelievable. It was very uncomfortable. It says 50% cotton, 50% polyester, but oh my God, it's itchy. How's Doug gonna like it? He's gonna wherever I go, Doug goes. You know. Doug's going to, his life's going to get easier. It's actually going to get easier for him. Because we're not going to be dealing with a predator situation like Doug right now is. Like the worst thing for Doug right now is his job. It's crippling him. He's getting worse. Like he's getting gimped more. Like the amount of medication I have to use on him is getting more and more because of his running. He runs like way too much for his size. So I'm looking at other property, Nancy. On September 28th, I leave here to go look at other property. No. Do I have a place picked out in my mind? No, Richard, I'm wide open right now. I'm very fluid. I'm very fluid. You know, very, very fluid on this. Extremely fluid. Actually, if the only reason I can be so fluid is because, well, I'm going to answer your question, Dale, is that there's just Doug and I. It's like I'm just Doug and I. The only thing I got to worry about is Doug. So I drag him along with me, and I just go and do my thing. You know. So but that's the 28th. I have to spend a night in Panama. I land on the 29th in Valencia. Like I said, I'm going to spend about 4 or 5 days in Valencia researching everything from furniture to supplies, the whole shooting match. And then I'm going to go look at this other part of the country, that property that's being put in front of me. Doug's going to have a real learning experience, I tell you. Am I going to miss Andy the vet or other friends? Well, you know, Mallard, I'm a little bit strange that way. When I go away, I don't think of where I come from. It's very easy for me to forget where I come from and just start a new life. You know, I'm a little bit different that way. I guess you could say I'm more of the adventurous type, and I just go. Looking behind me, I'm not a big fan of. I want to look forward. Yeah, Doug will have to be on a tranquilizer for the move that happens. But it isn't that long of a move, actually, because like an example, like Toronto to Panama is well, it's five and a half hour flight, so it's not that big of a deal. And then you know, if you spend overnight in Panama and then you fly out the next day, it's only a 2.5 hour flight from Panama to Venezuela. So it's not really a long trip. And Doug is, you know, the dog literally can, you know, I know for a fact that he can go 24 hours easy without going to the bathroom. So, and if he's tranquilized, you know, relaxed, not knocked out, just tranquilized, Doug's, I think, well, I've seen so far what Doug's like traveling, and he's a pretty relaxed dog in the car. So. And he doesn't sit up and get all antsy. He's the, put it this way, just driving to town, which is only 4.2 kilometers, Doug lays down and almost takes a nap. He's very laid back. Like right now, because there's no more treats, he's gone. He's laying in front of the window. He's had enough. So are my plans still to make a living on YouTubing and getting some other revenue stream? Yeah, I'm planning on still trying to carve out a little bit of an existence here on YouTube, sharing what I'm going to do, starting a new life. That's the plan. You know, and if I have some ideas of things I want to do down there, and there'll be things I want to share, and you know, there are some startup stuff that I want to do that I've had some ideas, and you know, there'll still be, you know, the GoFundMe stuff, and there'll still be ways of doing, you know, financial things down there. You would suggest Nicaragua, but it's too late for that. Well, the Venezuela thing, I'm telling you, it's the doors. The doors are opening for me. How much does the property cost? Well, that's the thing, Gail. It's unbelievable. It's cheap. It's really cheap. Like, give you an idea. Like, not the farm I was looking at. I was looking at another property that was actually really nice. The house was finished, tiled up, and it completely tiled. The farmhouse is not finished, but it was all tiled up with a swimming pool, full lawn, done right up, like really nice, full appliances and everything. And then the rent was like $450 US a month to rent it, and it had a swimming pool, the whole works. It was like it's pretty cheap. Like it's well, put it this way, like 5.5 kilograms of filet mignon costs $16 US. Like, it's all in perspective. It's pretty cheap. Yes, I'm going to make a series of videos on my next trip. That's the plan. I plan on, you know, filming and sharing more. And I'm going to have a lot more. I learned some things on this filming trip that I am not going to repeat mistakes, like mixing a regular video together with iPhone videos. Oh, that was a horror show. And the date, time, I was like, one thing I got to make sure is all the cameras are on the right time. That was the problem. And the problem was one of my cameras changed times because it has a GPS locator, and it changed the time on me. And when I was in Colombia, which I don't understand why, and it didn't. And when it got to Venezuela, it didn't change, and it got screwed up. And anyways, it was a horror show editing, folks, because trying to get everything in order. And then the iPhone, the date it created the videos made no sense. It was like it was a horror show. I learned a lot. Which the next trip, I'm gonna be a lot more organized. It was a little bit of a learning lesson. The other property, yes, Nancy. It's all in Venezuela. The other property, and they're about 900 kilometers apart, as the bird flies. So the other properties, I have no. I don't know what the other property has yet. I'm going to see. I don't know. Do you have a sign up on your house yet? No, Richard. I'm still fixing the final touches. I probably am going to. My goal is to have my home here in Canada listed for sale before I leave September 28th. So, and if this week gets greens up here even better, I'm going to be doing a big drone. I got a whole bunch of I got a whole bunch of work to do here yet to make it purty for the lit to sell. But I'm going to be doing a drone this week. I think this week I got to look around how green things look from the rain, because it's a late listing, but I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried. If somebody's going to buy my place. Oh, you're welcome, Sue, on the videos. I tried. My goal was to share exactly what it was like down there, and because there's a lot of misinformation on the internet about Venezuela, and I wanted to show the human side of it. And the next trip, well, like I said, I'm going to take you to another part of the country, and you'll meet people there also. I'm just starting now, Inga, to looking for homes for ducks and geese. I think I found a home for Red and the little Muscovy. I'll know more this week on that. I'm being picky on where they're going. What is the deal with the gas shortage, Mindy? Well, the sanctions, because of the sanctions, uh, the Venezuela can't buy uh, anything. Okay, they can't. They're locked right out of everything. It's unbelievable. They can't get anything. They can't buy medical supplies or anything. So what's happened is that the refineries, I think there's 7 refineries in the country, are in really bad shape because they can't buy any replacement parts. They can't get any supplies because they're totally locked up because they're being blocked from selling their oil on the world market. They can't sell their oil. So what's happened is the refinery that was making the gas additives, uh, it broke, basically. It broke because they couldn't buy any parts to fix anything. And so they were importing the gas additives. And 2 months, I think it was about 2 months ago, the US rolled out sanctions that stopped them from buying the gas additives. And so now there's this gas shortage because I think Russia is supplying some additives to them so they can manufacture gas. And so they're right now all the gas is basically being shared in the cities so that there's no mass rioting, and the countryside is being kept on just a hand and mouth situation. But like less than 2.5 months ago, and there's proof, you can go on the internet and see this, there was like a thriving business where they were, black market was buying, like they would literally fill up a tanker truck for $25 US, and then they would drive it across the border into Colombia and sell it for $15,000 on the black market, and that now has collapsed. The Colombia, all the cities and towns on the Colombian Venezuela border are in a crisis situation because of all the black market gas that was coming from Venezuela. There was no local gas stations, so when this gas shortage kicked in, it hurt actually a lot of big Colombian, bigger, like 1 million people type cities on the border. All of a sudden, there was no gas in Colombia. So they went from having crazy amounts of gas available in Venezuela to now this shortage because of the sanctions, because they can't get the additives. But just this week, it was announced that China, the company called Wissom, Wisom, I think it's called, is a chemical engineering firm that has just cut a deal that they're going to fix the refineries, and they say it's going to take 6 months to a year to finish it. And they're doing a barter deal where they're going to accept oil and gas and diesel from them in payment for these services to get the refineries up and running. So China, ironically, is going to fix their problem. So am I going to be moving before the next Canadian winter? I hope so, Gail. Nancy, no, the next property I'm looking at is right on the coast. Why is the U.S. doing this? This has been going on, Mindy, since 1999, since the people elected Hugo Chavez. There's a lot of history, folks. A lot of history. I had a real eye opener from intellectuals, politically neutral intellectuals, explain to me what is that country's being put through. So about the resources in that country and the things that were going on. Put it this way: the people elected a government that said they would take care of the people and the people's best interests, and that didn't sit well with the U.S. corporations. So, like the price of gas. Like I was in Venezuela in 2000, in the year 2000, and gas was 6 cents a liter then, and now it's like ridiculously cheap because of the hyperinflation. But the government just feels that their resources belongs to the people, and that's and they use their 95% of their GDP, exporting GDP is oil sales. So you know and now they're blocked. They can't sell any oil. The Venezuela used to be the richest country in the world, one of the richest countries in Latin America. That parroting line is the mainstream media, because the reason Hugo Chavez got elected was because of the poverty. It was unbelievable, the poverty and the illiteracy that was going on in that country. It was 90% of the people were in abject poverty, 70% were illiterate. And the rich were ridiculously rich, and they were tied to all the resource companies that were raping the country. And so there was like, it was bad. And that's how Chavez got elected. And he brought down poverty, abject poverty, down to 30%. They built over like 2.5 million homes. They built for the poor, and illiteracy has fallen big time. But it was the people that changed things on the election, and that has not sat well. As we discovered in the world, it doesn't matter what the people want. There's other people. In charge, behind the curtain, the man behind the curtain. The deal on the Gale and the deal on the gas, when you pull up legally, the gas attendant is not supposed to fill external tanks. They're supposed to be. It has to be connected to the fuel system of the vehicle. So, as long as the tank is connected to the fuel system of the vehicle, they can fill it up. They're not supposed to, but that's where the black market gas comes from, where the attendants will, fill up extra cans for a little bit of cash slipped to them. The Greyzone, actually, that YouTube channel, that's a really good channel. Actually, they just did an interview on the Greyzone with Maduro. And I'm not kidding you, folks, because like I said, I've been reading about this stuff for years, but I've been like really paying attention to since January, the sanction situation. I've researched the crap out of that, but previous to that, I was aware of what was happening to Venezuela. And Maduro's interview that he just did on the Greyzone is like, it's so much truth it hurts. If you really want to get if you've got 30 minutes and you want to really get a dose of truth, I highly recommend the Greyzone and I think it was 3 days ago that there was an interview. A lot of bribery in Venezuela. Not as much bribery as in Western politicians. Like here, I'm going to give something that's going on right now. Like the latest round of, not the latest because that was the embargo, but before that, they sanctioned all the people that were running the CLAP program. It's CLAP, which is the program to feed. It's sort of like it's a food supplement program that they supply like something like I think it's 2.5 million families or 3 million families, which is 4 people a family. Like it's almost like it's a lot. 12, 15 million people get this supplemental food that the government helps. And it's all funded by the oil reserves of the country. It's not taxes that pay for this. It's the natural resources that pay for this. And the U.S. sanctioned the 13 people that run this program because the government can't buy products on the world market. So what was happening was the people were using their personal names to buy products to bring it in for the CLAP program. So the U.S. sanctioned them so they can't do this. And then, they're saying that they were stealing, okay? So I want everybody to think about this. Now you can the whole GDP of Venezuela is like $335 billion. That's their GDP for the whole country. And their CLAP program, I think the monthly budget is like around a couple million a month is their budget on the CLAP program. Is if you're going to be corrupt and steal, do you steal pennies or do you steal dollars? Because if you really were corrupt and you wanted to steal, it would be a lot easier to sell your country out to the U.S. corporations and just give them the oil and get a whole bunch of money deposited monthly in a Swiss bank account, in the tunes of hundreds of millions of dollars. Or do you steal pennies from a food program that feed, like 5-6 million people in the country, that every bit that gets stolen would cause potential riots in the street because there would be product shortages. So when they say, they're stealing, it's like, they're accusing them of stealing pennies when they could really easily just turn around and sell the country out, like the Juan Guaido guy. He wants to end the CLAP program. He wants to open up the resources in the country to the U.S. corporations. They admitted it. Mike Pompeo has admitted that the oil would be good for the U.S. economy. So it's like if you were like truly corrupt and you wanted to steal and make a lot of money, wouldn't it be easier just to sell your country out and pocket out just a ton of money, or do you steal pennies? That's why I have a hard time understanding the accusations of theft, because the biggest theft in the world could be selling your country out, and pocket a ton of money. So the U.S. is saying that we can't deal with these guys. Well, because they can't be bribed. Sanctions are pure evil. They're an act of war. Do I worry about a dictatorship in VN? A dictatorship in VN? What's VN? Is that Venezuela? Is that what you're talking about, Donna? It's not a dictatorship. They're elected government. 6 million people all elected them. It's a democracy that has two forms of voting, fingerprint and paper, and it's verified. The dictatorship is just the MSN news parroting bull. They set the last election up. Actually, if you go back and read about the last election, what happened, it was set up to declare it as illegitimate by the government, because Maduro actually invited, and you can Google this, it's all on the internet, Maduro actually invited because in 2012 the Carter Foundation and the UN said that the election was completely legit in 2012. And then in 2018, the presidential election, they said was illegitimate, but the Maduro asked the UN to come and observe the election, asked the Carter Foundation to come and observe the election. And the Carter Foundation got in a lot of trouble because they said, that in 2012 it was a legit election, but they turned down going to observe it in 2018. The United Nations turned it down, and their excuse for turning it down was unbelievable. They said that they couldn't guarantee that free and fair elections, so we're not going to observe it. And I'm like, whoa, that's your job, is to observe it, to make sure it's free and fair. So Maduro invited everybody in March. They turned them down because they asked for, they wanted it international observation on the election to make sure, and they turned them down, the invitation to come and watch his election. And then the opposition party, which there's the opposition down there is crazy. There's like 40 factions of the opposition, and they convinced them not to run. Like there was only 5, I think it was 4 or 5 other people ran for as president, but the main opposition party, who right now there's like 40 people that would declare that they're their president if Maduro wasn't there. They didn't run. They were instructed not to run, and they didn't run in the election. So the election took place in May, and Maduro won with almost 6 million votes. Oh, and the fingerprint company mysteriously pulled out of the country just before the election and went back to Portugal. And I think, and it was probably the U.S. State Department had their finger in that one. So they set this up to make it look like an illegitimate election before it even took place. And then, it happened there this winter in December, January, they declared, Juan the president, and the election was null and void. And it was all set up. It was a big setup. Well, but these are things you'll never hear in the news. And like I said, the people I was with were politically neutral, but they told me what was going on exactly, like why corporations are leaving the country. That's another one too. And another, we're told, that the reason the country, that they're packing up is because they don't want to be nationalized and that the government's going to steal their business and hijack them. And that ain't the deal. What was happening is because of capital controls, the companies were selling lots of product. They had they were making lots of sales, they had lots of product, but the problem is that they couldn't exchange the boulevards for dollars because of the controls that were put in place, because of the black market and the government. I'll get into that in a second. But what was happening, they couldn't change the dollars to bring the money out of the country to pay the shareholders. So companies like Firestone, Goodyear, GM, they just kept closing down because they couldn't convert the boulevards. They had so many boulevards and it was depreciating because of the hyperinflation. They couldn't export it into US dollars. So they were better off just closing and instead of continually generating a currency that they couldn't take out of the country. So, and what was happening is the government had the reserves, the U.S. reserves, to convert currency so people could buy on the international market and companies could buy and bring in goods and services to the country. But what was happening was the corporations so if the exchange rate was 8,000 was official and the black market is 13,000, what the companies were doing, and this is like straight from people in the know, I was explaining this, is they would go to the banks through the government and say, we're going to buy products and services and bring them to the country. So they would exchange their boulevards for 8,000 to 1 to US dollars. Then the companies, instead of buying goods and services, and these are the big corporations, instead of buying goods and services, they were going to the black market and selling the boulevards or the US dollars for 13,000. I'm talking about today's exchange rate. They're to 13,000, and then they would turn 8,000 into 13,000, and then go back to the bank and do it again. But they would bring nothing into the country. So this is what was happening, and it was draining the U.S. dollar reserves of the country, and so they had to put capital controls into place, which screwed up the corporations from stealing. So they just shut down, and there was lots of big places shut down. But Toyota's still making vehicles there. The plant is still manufacturing vehicles. Toyota. I know that about Toyota. It still is so. It's a beautiful place, Donna. It is. When I move, will I give up my Social Security, my Canadian pension plan? My Canadian pension plan. By the time I get there, I won't be worth anything. Anybody I'm not relying on my pension, folks. In 8 years, when I'm 65, I'm not putting much hope on that. I don't think we're going to. That's another rabbit hole. Another rabbit hole. I don't believe that I'm going to collect anything worthwhile from that situation. So, any other questions? We got no questions. Have I answered everything? I'm just, this is all stuff that I found out, researching it, watching it, talking to people down there, having things explained to me. And it ain't like you're getting told. Nah, put it this way, there is nothing that's the truth out there on on the mainstream media about this country. It's all lies, folks. Actually, I'm gonna post. Oh, Inga, they're going to change the what you call it. They want it. They've already because it's they know it's insolvent. They're going to because I was born in '61. That's the cutoff, and they're talking about raising it 2 years to 67. So like I'm going to get screwed. This way here. I want to get. I'm gonna post this. You know, here. I'm doing this. I'm trying to do that. I got the camera in the way right now, here, folks. I'm gonna post this link underneath here in the chat because I recommend that you watch it if you're interested. If you're not interested, don't watch it. But if you're interested, here's the link to the interview. And like I said, I watched the whole interview. And based on my knowledge of what's going on down there and the people I talked to down there, he ain't lying, okay? No, he ain't lying. Okay, where are we here? How do the people feel about Maduro? Now that's a good question, Mindy. From what I found, first of all, okay, the older people I talk to that have a little more experience in life, it's first of all, you know, like I hate my government up here. They're corrupt, and no matter who comes into power, my whole life I've followed politics, and no matter who is in charge, we always get screwed. So that's right off the bat. Not a big fan of the current government up here in Canada, but I wasn't a fan of the previous one either. So it doesn't matter, conservative or liberal, doesn't matter. So the older people, they know what's going on. They know the government, is incompetent, just like I know my government's incompetent. But they also know that the current economic situation is because of the sanctions and what has been happening to the country. Now the young people, that's a different story. They're brainwashed. There's a little bit of brainwashing going on, and they actually believe that the United States is going to save them because of the parroting of the crap that gets fed to them, and they actually believe it. So, and the last thing you want is the United States government to save you. No. Am I going to have people helping me? I am going to have a lot of people helping me, Aletta. That's my goal, is to generate employment to help these people. I am going to have help. The days of Matt killing himself by myself are over. No. There are lots of people that have left the Venezuela. I know there's many people. I'm in a unique situation. I'm coming to the country in a different situation. But if I was a local, I can understand why people are leaving, because the opportunities aren't there. There's no economy. And if there's no economy because of the financial grip that's being done to the country, there's no opportunity, folks. There isn't. I totally understand why people are leaving. And the people that are leaving are predominantly educated younger people that are leaving. There's a massive brain drain that's going on in the country right now, and it's not good for the economy. How long have I been in Venezuela? I'm in Canada right now. I'm going back down September 28th to look at other property. So, no, I haven't told the food bank anything that I'm moving. Yes, I have checked out the healthcare situation. It's very rudimentary. But if something serious happens, I have the ability to go to another country to get it fixed up. You gotta remember, I'm not a local. I'm a Canadian, I'm, selling everything up here and I'm going down there. So don't worry, Don, I'm going to show. Actually, Mr. Tube, the Guaido situation, I get a kick out of this, is that you know how they say that the whole world recognizes him as the president of Venezuela? Well, there's 195 countries on the face of the earth. I think there's 172 countries in the UN, and only 50 vassal, and I say vassal states acknowledge, Guaido. And I always get when everybody says, "Oh, the whole world, recognizes, Guaido as the president," which the people of Venezuela don't even know who Guaido is. That's another funny. Well, they know now who he is because he's caused so much problem, but they didn't even know who he was. So. And if you don't know what vassal state means, Google it, because when you do that and you find out what vassal state means, you're going to totally understand the 50 countries that are backing the U.S. on this illegal move of trying to regime change. Didn't some candidate say when he was running for president that no more regime change and no more wars of aggression? Who was that guy? I can't remember. That's 2016. That's a long time ago. Will I have medical insurance? I will have medical access down there. It's so cheap, Inga. It's like not like up here. Like I can buy a medical insurance plan for in Colombia if I have to go there, or I can just pay. Am I going to be looking at my plan, Nancy, is I'm going down to look at the second property. And I'm planning on renting the first year because I don't know yet where I want to be in the country. After living there for a year, I will have a better idea where I want to be. Do I want to stay in the mountain? Do I want to be, more on the coast? It's I'm in a unique situation that I've got no pressure being put on me, none whatsoever, none, zero zip, folks. You can't even ask for a better deal than this. There's no pressure. It's like the new adventure is a fresh start, but it's still 50 ducks. That's how I started. You're going to watch me more because you really want to move. I'm telling you, it's not easy to move. Oh. Second property in Dunda? I don't know what you mean, Dunda. Do they have pain management? I don't know. I don't have any pain, so I never researched that. I have no, unless I hurt myself, I have no medical interest. Oh. The channel staying 50 ducks. There's no reason to change the name of the channel. How do I maintain my YouTube channel? Exactly, just to keep using it. Nothing changes. I get on the internet and I just upload just like I'm doing. It's like, you should know, there's internet in Venezuela. You can upload a video. Get myself a wife and raise 5 kids. You're a little ambitious there. The internet in Venezuela is very slow. 3G is what I'll have for a connection. I've answered that question 4 times now. No, you can't take your guns with you, Richard. The only people that can move guns around the world are governments, mercenaries, that are employed by governments. Us simple people are not allowed to move weapons around. Would I consider other jobs besides farm work? I'm looking at everything, Juanita. I'm 80 kilometers outside of Ottawa in Canada. The heart of Canada, I guess you could say. Close to the capital. It's going to be a big change, put it this way. Exciting change. I think we're dying out on questions here, folks. We've done pretty good here. 95 minutes of questions. I think that's it. I can't. I can't think of anything else I can tell you. I think that's it. I'm drawing a blank. You're not throwing anything at me, so I got nothing to work with here. And I got lots of work to do here. I'm working on the house. I I've done a lot of cement work the last 2 days, but today's an easier job. I'm working on my staircase. I'm getting the house ready. You know, I gotta go let the ducks out too. So, uh, no, I have never been to Guyana. No, I got Keith a T-shirt and a jacket. Is what I got him. Same T-shirt I got, which is mine's really itchy. So, you know. Actually, Tim, the Venezuelan government is now they just rolling out that they're going to get Huawei to bring 4G to Venezuela. They're going to upgrade all the cell from 3G to 4G. And it was just announced actually about 6 weeks ago that Huawei is being officially invited into the country to upgrade everything to 4G. So. Did the coffee stink when it went into the fire? I hate the smell of roasted coffee. When they're roasting it, it smells terrible in the air. Oh. When Doug goes into lockdown, will you be able to see him each day? What do you mean lockdown? I don't understand. Why would Doug go into lockdown? I don't understand. Nancy, I don't understand your question. You meant the initial. I don't understand. Relo. All I know is they said the Huawei is the 4G is what they're. That was what I read, that they want to upgrade to 4G. So. But I am going back down, folks. There's going to be another series. The next series is going to be much bigger series. It's going to be serious. Like I said, I learned this trip about file management, doing the vlog, and the next trip is going to be much more much more organized, because I'm actually going to be down there for, what is it? Start to finish, it's 16 days. From the time I leave Canada until I get back, it's 16 days. So there's going to be a ton of new stuff of what it's going to be like. Plus, we're going to a different part of the country. Plus, we're going to do like 4 or 5 days of shopping in Valencia, of what it's like to, as a Westerner, move to the country and replace my life down there and start over. So quarantine? There's no quarantine. I don't understand why there's no quarantine in my life or Doug's life. Giving lectures to help people? No, I don't know what I'm going to do. Will I have time to see the baby cow? I'm potentially could. It depends on the chain of events, how it happens down there. Because you got to remember, to get to Santa Cruz is a 7.5 hour drive. So I have to. I can fly from Santa Cruz. I mean, from Boconó to Santa Cruz, but it's there's a lot of jumping around. It's not as easy as you think. No. I will be on the coast for the next trip. Cumana. Actually, let me just do here. I'm gonna post a link to where I'm headed next. I'll post a link. I'll share it with you, and it's allegedly, because I've discovered this in my travels that a lot of cities take this they're the oldest city, but this allegedly was one of the or is the oldest city in South America. But I also was told that when I was in Brazil, I was in a small city called Porto Segura, and they said it was the oldest. So everybody claims that they're the oldest city. And I actually have a T-shirt from this one. They gave me a T-shirt to get me to come back, and actually it was the 499th anniversary. That was in 2017, getting hyped up for the 500th anniversary of the city. So I don't know if that link works that I just put from Google. It should work. But anyways, that's where I'm headed next to look at some property there. So, did I wash the shirt before I put it on? Yes, Nancy, I wash everything. No, I don't wear clothes until they're washed. As a kid, I was exposed to a textile plant, and I got to see, and it's like, no, you don't want to wear that stuff. Wash it. No. Okay, so the link works. So anyways, I'm going down there to look at a property there in that area. So, like I said, I'm keeping a very. My only goal is to come up with something to help the people in a sustainable fashion too. And I'm not talking about charity. I'm talking about something in a self-sustaining fashion is what I'm working on in my head. That's where my head is at. So Doug doesn't have to be quarantined. No, just I gotta just once Doug has his his vet certification and everything, it's just like he comes through with me, just like that. And we're not going to Australia. So, but that's the deal. I'm excited about it. I got so many ideas. Like I can't even talk about the ideas of what I want to do. Like I said, I saw huge opportunities in helping people in a self-sustaining way too. That it's like the old saying, you can give a man a fish, feed him for a day, or you can teach him how to fish. Well, I see lots of teaching how to fish type scenarios. Is what I see. Because I don't want to have, that if I stop doing something, they stop benefiting. That's not what I want to do. So. The previous question, Nancy. Okay, what was your previous question? I'm looking for you, Nancy, here. Previous question about 2 properties before making the initial decision where to relocate. I'm relocating to Venezuela. And I'm very fluid where I'm going to be. I'm very fluid. So, very fluid. Was your dad lost his pension when he spent more than 6 months in Venezuela? Was he a Venezuelan that became a Canadian citizen? As a Dutch person, I flatland. It's much flatter where I'm going to the next place. I'm not going to lose my pension, but I think it's going to be worthless by the time I get there. And plus, I think the government's going to change the date. They've already hinted that anybody born after 1961, 61 and up is going to have to wait 2 more years. I'm right at the end of the baby boomer, um, you know, he's a Canadian citizen. Was he born in Canada or became a Canadian citizen? Because I know I can't lose my pension. It's like it's just I think it's going to be worthless. I'm not counting on it, folks. Put it that way. I'm not counting on it at all. Actually, I'm a take care of myself kind of guy. So that's the plan. I think that's it for questions, folks. I can't see anything else here. We've been almost 2 hours. This Q&A. I didn't expect it to take this long. I'm looking at the time now. It's 10:16. I got to go to the hardware store and buy drywall today. The lumber store. Wait till they tell you that because anybody born in 58 and up are going to wait 2 more years. They love doing that 2 year. The amount of time they can stall on the worthless pension, every time they add 2 years, it's like you're getting screwed hard. Well, I'm not counting on my pension, folks. Not even remotely counting on it. I know I'm probably going to have to work till I die. You know, seriously. Because that's the new norm, eh? That's the new thing. Work till you die. You know. But yeah, if you're having fun, and and I like helping people, and if I'm having fun helping people, I'll work till I die. You know, that doesn't bother me. You know what I mean? Just I think if I sat around and did nothing, I would crack. I would crack. Well, I know I crack when I have nothing to do. I get bored. You know. Anyway, yeah, I know, Donna. I don't count on it. Okay, so folks, I'm gonna go. I think I've answered all the questions that I can answer, or we'll just start repeating questions here, and then I'll have to repeat answers. I'm gonna go and start my day. Like I said, I'm working on the house here because I got to get this all happening. My goal is to have everything done so that when I leave on the 20th of September, the farm is officially listed, and hopefully, I'll come back and I'll have an offer. I hope I don't stay here all winter. I hope that doesn't happen. Anyways, have a great day, and thank you so much for your interest and your support. And like I said, the next series is going to be huge because like I said, I'm going to be down there for like 14 days this next time, and I will show everything I have, the same detail. I will be doing the exact same detail, and I highly recommend, folks, if you got 30 minutes, watch that link I posted. I'll post it again right now so you don't have to scroll up in the chat. But I highly recommend watching this if you've got 30 minutes. Okay, I recommend it. Can't recommend it enough. Okay, because the man ain't lying. He ain't lying in the interview. So, anyways, thank you so much for joining me, folks. And like I said again, thank you so much for your support. And if it wasn't for the duck adventure, this chapter wouldn't be opening for me. And actually, ironically, if it wasn't for the vegans attacking me and destroying me last year, I wouldn't be looking at this fantastic new adventure for my life and to drag you along. I'm going to drag you along. So if you're willing to watch and willing to stay sub to the to the channel, you're going to watch the duck adventure morph into something awesome. That's the plan. So have a great day, and I'll talk to you later.